Hi everyone, it's Adrienne Leah. This video is kind of going to be a first impressions on The Cook's Tarot by Judith McKay Sturt. I briefly looked at the book and cards yesterday when I received it, so I did want to give some of my thoughts on the rest of the cards. But again, I didn't look too deeply into anything. So there are a couple of reasons of why I chose to get this deck. It's been on my wish list for a while. And the first one is my last name's Cook, so I thought that was cool, the Cook's Tarot. The second reason, I'm a foodie. I love expressing myself through cooking. It's in my blood. Both of my grandparents on my mom's side are chefs. And there is this idea of, well, it is true that food is a necessity. It's a part of life. It becomes and is a part of you, and it can be a divine expression, just like tarot is for me. So both of them bring people together in their own ways, so it's nice seeing them integrated. They go hand in hand. So another reason is that I've been in the food industry for a majority of my working life. I held nearly every general job in the food industry, so I've done behind the scenes with busing and food preparation when you go into the back of the kitchen, and you kind of get to see the front of the kitchen when you're a busser, but there isn't much interaction. I've also gone up from, well, first I was a waitress, and then I became a bartender. I also have my license, bartending license, and I was even a barista working at a coffee shop. So waitressing is also another way that tarot and cooking they kind of go hand in hand, is that waitressing is like a bridge between the worlds. You interact and then you send the messages back to the kitchen. It's like when the customers ask you, does it have this, or how is this, and then you go back and forth to the kitchen. I know some waitresses, because there's a lot of waitress talk where you can relate to stories, and even with any type of experience that you have and other people have had. So I am so excited to have this. I know that it'll be like an everyday deck for me. So this is the box. I'm sorry for the long intro. It opens up like this. I love Schiffer Publishing, especially with their packaging. It is a little dented, but I don't really mind. And the Tarot of the She is another favorite of mine. So they always come in sturdy cases. I briefly read through this part, so I'll show it on the screen so you guys can read it. It's really cool that she was born and raised on the island of Jamaica, because I have a lot of Jamaican friends back in my hometown. And I did briefly, so you guys could read it if I didn't get a good shot, briefly went through the book, but I did notice things that were really nice about it. So I'm not going to get too into the book. So the first one when I first took out the book, it went to the Lovers card, which is nice because usually my cards address me, the ones that I'm really close to, either the Lovers or the Queen of Swords. I'm a Libra. So I really like the key elements. As you can see, there's the Arcanum and the Zodiac Affinity. And there's also Kitchen Wisdom with the quote, which I really like. The card meaning. With the key elements, I find it really interesting. There's specific notes on different imagery on the card. And it does that for the minors too, which is really nice. The only thing that I would say, which isn't too constructive, I mean it can be, is that for it to have larger text. So that's it. And then there's a picture, which is nice. So you could see this design is also in the back of the cards. You can really feel the warmth of these cards. So these are the backs. They do have a thinner cardstock, which is closer to the Tarot of the She, and it's slicker. I like the grippiness of it. I usually like these kinds of cards. So, I'm sorry. I was brushing Lakota earlier, so there's hair in some places. This is a larger deck. It's actually larger than your standard Oracle deck. Of course, some of them come bigger, and even some tarot decks are bigger than this. But it is reminiscent of what you would normally see as the size of an oracle. So these are not in order. So she depicts the minor arcana, the swords, wands, cups, and pentacles with different types of imagery. See, with these pentacles, they look like they're coming from her coin purse. It looks like she's making some type of sauce. And even decorations. You see the cake is falling in the background. When things go wrong, then you can always come back from it. I did really like seeing in the book some descriptions of the alchemical imagery, especially within the water. I like when they have reflections for the Eight of Swords and the open cage. This is like flashbacks of when people would have birthdays at the restaurant. And they use a lot of matches here. This was actually my first card draw. But they do have growth on them too. And checking the turkey. Still not good? Okay. Well, I've got to keep checking. And then that looks like, from what I'm seeing, is a trash can, so they might be just starting over because they messed up. Or it's like burnt without, beyond recognition. They do have a lot of animals in here. It's cute. This reminds me, like, if you're roasting something. And different styles of creating food, you know, like baking and stuff. You know where my sentence is going. I really like this one. This is like spilling the tea in modern terms, which is nice. Like all the girls gathering around, and there's the alchemical imagery with smoke and the water. And more of it here. And trying to keep your lipstick on, that's really great for the Queen of Wands, because I've done that before too. Maybe not this specific one, but I have attempted to keep my lipstick on and retouched. I love the cats in here. The Nine of Wands is one of my cards that I look at, so I like that there are cats. The monkey is an interesting animal to have. And I believe this is stirring or churning. It looks like it is. It's churning. And with this one, it seems like there is an immature aspect to it. And the Knight of Wands doing it his own way. I like the representations of different cultures in here. I really like the Grill Master for the Emperor. That's cool. Open, and the candles are lit with the cat and the background. I really like the pearls here because pearls form out of the mollusk, so it's basically forming from within, or like, I guess in terms nothing. And I don't mind this sun card. I actually don't mind the child in the sun card. And I like this one because it's him. It's the person who's lighting his own candle. So being the catalyst. Sorry, I'm just looking at my time. I like the windows in here, and there's also stained glass if I've passed any of them. And I really like the freeness that the Fool has. And there is a flow, especially if you go through something, even like you start with the Fool, you end with the Fool, and the cycles keep going. So this is also having some type of flow. I know when it's fast paced in the restaurant, then you gotta book it, and also there's that muscle memory too. But there's always some things that you can gain, or like knowledge. This is my husband's first card, which is cool because he's Jewish. And I really like this one. Using your own herbs in your kitchen, which I want to have soon. And I really like this one. I can relate to this because I have cats, and I think like if they're fur babies essentially, so if you have kids, it's probably really difficult too, but you don't really need to take it as seriously as this. It's easy to get frustrated, but it could be managed usually, or something better comes along that we don't notice. So symbolically, this is really nice. And even the nighttime and the faucet running and everything that's poured out, there's still so much to be gained, or that has been there, but her eyes are closed to it. This is so dramatic, but it's going full force, and it's kind of like this Speedy Gonzalez. He already has like stuff prepared and he keeps going. I like this Queen of Swords. I really like the dogs in here. There's so much stacked and just looks like a catastrophe. I really like this Five of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles is one of the cards that I look into a lot. As the kid wants to go to the candy store. The mom's like, nah. This kind of reminds me of, since I'm currently living in a place where they're prone to hurricanes. So the hurricane supplies, and you don't touch it. She's doing a lot. And this is a nice Page of Swords. And this is also more visionary artwork where you can see exactly what's going on in that specific card. Star and knees, or I believe it's star and eyes. And then you still have the Ace of Pentacles here. I feel like a lot of cooks have gone through this. So you have the fish here and the pomegranate here. And you get the Two of Wands feeling from this card. So to me, it's like she wants to try a new avenue, maybe start her own business, seek better opportunity. This is a more light-hearted King of Swords, and the Queen of Swords also had sushi too, so that was cool. This is like also doing well, obviously with the thumbs up. I love this Chariot. And when I did read the Lover's card, it's like breakfast in bed, so that's fun. And then there's the snake, and I like how she's talking about different types of interpretations of the snake, how it can go either or. And this is a fun moon card. So I'm gonna see what my first, not my first card, my card for this video. Well, another thing is that I believe this is, it was already bowing when I took it out of the box, but I don't mind. I'm sure with the amount of shuffling that I'll do. I just have the camera in front of me, so I don't want to drop the cards, and I just want it to look okay. So and as I was saying that, because I didn't want to drop the cards on camera, and then I'll pull out another one. What I do like is that there is somewhat of a flow for the cards, at least for these two mainly. This one can pass as having some type of flow, but it does stick to a color palette, which is nice, because I know with one example is the Tarot of the Hidden Realm, where it doesn't really flow as, like, if you were to put out a spread, it's not that the imagery doesn't go together, it's just the color palette is very distinct to specific cards. So this was my first impressions. I really love the deck. I usually upload videos of decks that I really like. So, I mean, if you guys hear me saying how much I like each deck that I post, that's probably why, because I don't make videos on decks that I don't use a lot. So I really connected to this deck, and I know that I'm going to get lots of use out of it. There's just this sense of knowing and connecting with the archetypes that are used and what they're doing, because I've been through a lot of it. That's like me, because I'm northerner and I moved down south. And I'm like, oh my god, the heat. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that was helpful, because I don't see a lot of videos on this deck. In fact, I only saw one video, and that was just the flip through from Dark Star Tarot. I know there's a review on it, but I didn't watch the review. So if you want to see a review, then it's out there. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Bye!